Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Plat Bastion. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do drop a like, consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. And there we have our super chat coming in. That one is covering that is from Celeste, who is our Bastion here, and that is for this review. Thank you, Celeste, I appreciate that. Kongex, with the first piece of advice of the review, says just aim better. Well, that might be part of it, but I suspect there's quite a bit more than just aiming better we can tell this player.
It's a good reminder.
Just don't play Bastion. We don't generally like to give that advice. We can give a little bit better coaching than that. Hey, it's me. Thank you, Celeste. Thank you. Another super chat saying, hey, it's me. We've gone from 449 Rube to 1790 Rube. Perfect. RUB. Okay. So here we go. We take a look. Here we are. I very much appreciate the super chats there, Celeste. Thank you. 25 USD. Perfect. I appreciate the conversion there, Game Buster. So here we are, and we've gone through here. We've got our Bastion. We're going to go like this.
Stop the payload.
And the other one was 6.7. Great. Fantastic. Okay. You open up with the Bastion on the off angle. This is good. Time to leave. Appropriate. It's hard not to justify just taking the Orisa shield at this point. Like, she's offering it. The angle is effectively the same as your angle. You take the extra step into the Orisa shield. You just do. You have plenty of repair left to self-repair as you step into it. I don't know why you're still here. There's not a good reason to be here. Just use the shield. You wanted to be like that for the Winston, but I'm just not worried about the Winston jumping on top of you. Like, you are going to melt, absolutely melt the Winston. Zarya Bubble or no Zarya Bubble if he jumps on top of you, and no one else on their team outside of Reaper can jump on top of you. So, like, just stay. As long as you have that Orisa shield, we're golden. We're perfectly fine there. Anna's going to keep you up if the Winston jumps plenty long enough for the two of you to eliminate him. Two of you in this case being mostly Orisa and you. Okay, why is our crosshair so low? Why is our crosshair low? Why are we not shooting at the Reaper? Yeah, this was always going to happen, and I get why you tucked here was for this Bastion. I'm not quite sure why we untransformed. You don't trust shields. Well, you don't need to long-term trust shields, but that was the play. You're going to need to reposition. Nah. This was probably an all-in. Okay. Leave. Got done what you needed to. No problem. We're good. Probably don't bother with the turret form here. Like, you see that, and you decide to react to this by transforming, and I'm actually not going to do that. Your regular weapon damage is plenty to put pressure on him, and there's enough cover, there's enough shenanigans, there's enough things that could cause you from here to have to retransform again immediately and just lose more time. I don't want high damage for an instant that isn't enough to eliminate him. I want the mobility of your robot form right now to be able to put damage into this guy. If you put damage, make him jump, make him get out of there, that's going to be fine. This, I'm less a fan of. I don't think you're going to be able to stay on him. Yeah, I would have much preferred to be able to walk over here and apply a little bit of damage and scare him off to a place where my team can shoot at him. The mobility is much more valuable right now. Okay.
Just getting started. Enemy in my.
Yeah, so now we're in this situation where we didn't chase off the Reaper, and we're playing from the exact same place we were playing from last fight. It's okay, but if we chased off the Reaper, we would have A, made the Reaper leave, and B, we would have been able to set ourselves up in, aha, I'm peeking from a different place. And these guys will start making plans on how to deal with you because you're a Bastion and they have to deal with you to successfully push. And if you keep being in the same spot, it's easier for those plans to work. So we like a little bit of moving, even if our spot is pretty good between fights. I don't know why we wouldn't step closer to this. We hear a Reaper, we see a Reinhardt. Like, step closer. These guys aren't that dangerous to you. You're going to do plenty of damage to them. There's no one down here that you're aware of that is going to, like, hook you down or be able to shoot you while you're transforming. But with where you transformed, your contribution is very limited. Better. But you wouldn't usually get 2 chances like this. Likewise, that's an early transform before you've actually seen what's here. And you could make the decision, obviously, here to transform, but we could have already been transformed here. Okay, is your team pushing? Sure. Beautiful. I like it. Bold to assume a Plat ladder team will make a plan to deal with him. I'm not saying the plan will work or it'll be a good plan. And they as a team might not make a plan, but as individuals, they'll start making plans in Plat for sure. Some of them.
I have your back.
Let me get you catched up.
Celeste is Bastion main. Nice, nice.
Team up for special attack.
I've got you in my sights.
Okay, so here we are. We've got a standard hit scan off angle. We've got some mercy shenanigans going on. It does some pretty good damage. Am I okay with this?
Enemies found.
It's pretty standard off angling. You're doing it in robot form. You make it a bigger off angle like this, and you've done it when you'll be able to get on their back line, and the Reinhardt is already pushing forward. I'm actually pretty good with this, yeah. You did not expect the Reinhardt to back off like that, and if he does back off like that, his team in front of him should go down to your team. So yeah, I'm pretty okay with this. I don't retransform here, though. I don't. Like, the first one, the initial pressure in robot form, good. The jump out transform, as it looked like the Reinhardt was going to push forward, solid. This last one doesn't really make sense anymore. You're transforming while a soldier already has tac visor up. You're doing it out of cover. This is a pure battle to the, battle to 0 health between you guys at this point, and you're transforming in his face. Like, no. That just was not a good transform. You tried to challenge visor. Right. You can't do that unless you're surprising it. This is not a surprise angle. This is a standardized hit scan off angle. If you'd had a surprise angle on him, up here, dropping down here, aha, he doesn't know when you pop out here. Surprise angle, totally fine, but this is not a surprise angle. This is your 3rd time doing work from this angle, and it's just a standard off angle hit scan angle, where it's like, hey, we've got a 45-degree off angle type thing. Like, hey, those are good, but that's just standard hit scan work. And Bastion sometimes does need to do standard hit scan work, which is why I was not complaining, but you just needed to effectively go, no, I'm not challenging this. At least until he starts to commit in another direction. And then if he starts to commit in this direction, you might have gone, okay, now I'm hopping this way and I'm trading out his backline type thing. Press the like button. We need more people on our Discord. Okay. So here you are. You're going for this. Bit of a Hail Mary. Bastion's ready, or Soldier's ready for you to be here. You didn't appropriately read them, mess them up, that sort of thing. That said, I'm not really having an issue with you choosing to challenge here because the situation isn't going to get better. You could try to lurk behind them for like another good 20-30 seconds and then peek after they've pushed up, but I don't think the Soldier's going to forget about you. I think you going down there was fine.
Hello.
We got Nano Mercy, yeah. Excited for the changes? No, you think they ruined Bastion's charm? Okay. Okay. I can see that. Temporal, sometimes you just gotta throw it up and say that prayer, hope someone comes down with it. Okay, okay. Sure, rotate, rotate, rotate. Go church, go church, go church, go church, go church, go church. I don't want you here. Fine, now we can push it. Now we're ahead enough that we can push this the standard way. Too late, too late. Your team didn't push hard enough. Good. But now they saw that you're here, so you're gonna go high ground. Quick everyone attack the Bastion one by one. Okay, so I can't really approve of this right here. Like, this was right, except that they saw you retreat this way, which I don't love. And I'm gonna round the corner in tank mode? No, like, you already knew that enough of them were chasing you enough that you can't just guarantee. You just do a blind jump across and tank mode transform before you've even seen what's over here. You do not have a good enough feel for, oh, there's targets here that make sense to eliminate. So I'm not really a fan of this blind tank mode transform. You just don't have enough information. You can absolutely do blind hopping transforms, but they're not truly blind. You have a very good feel for what's there, and that can be a tank mode transform or a turret mode transform, but this is not a great timing for one. Based on the information you had, this team was actually closer, and I would have expected this team to be further forward based on the information you had in terms of when you ducked into church here. So not a huge fan of this. Okay, we get one, but we only get one. We traded 1-for-1 with our ultimate. Not really great. And again, this is kind of a, hey, the fight isn't really happening. Fight isn't really happening. Your team isn't really fighting as you've committed. This is not the extreme powerhouse that your turret is in terms of, oh, I can just go get to eliminations like this. Like, if we think of Bastion, we've got extreme power is his turret mode. We've got, you know, his robot mode, his sentry mode, whatever, is going to be our mobility, but weak power. And then his ultimate is going to be a combo where you have pretty high power and pretty high mobility, but your power is not as high as it is here, and your mobility is, okay, fine, but, you know, like, we'll call it a compromise. You're going, hey, I want most of both worlds. I don't want the best of both worlds. And that's what you get with tank mode there. So, okay, cool. Didn't really make sense here. Like, this would have actually been a better hop transform into turret mode, but it really just didn't make sense in general. We want this when we're using off angles, when we need to sort of be able to readjust our off angles. But really, if we're going to commit our ult, like basically every hero, we want to commit our ult when the teams are either fighting or about to be fighting, and that's not happening right now. And you know that that's not happening because you can see that the only one on your screen is Soldier. Go church. Temporal's religious. I get it now. I get it. Okay. Gotta think about your transforms more. Okay. High ground, high ground, high ground, high ground, high ground. Sure.
Let's get you back out there.
This hurts a little bit. This did not have to happen. You could have gone high ground. I know you got the Reinhardt, but you could have gone high ground rather than wasting time with Reaper, and then been up here, and then your team, as they started to push 3 people in here to go fight your team, then you go, okay, I'll jump on their back line that's trying to pay attention to their front line, that's trying to cap, and perhaps pick up 2 eliminations, that sort of thing, and encourage my team to push in. You had a better play over here. You really did. Hog Diva tanks? Yeah, I mean, it's Plat. They're not cured of Hog Diva by Plat. We wouldn't have time to recontest. You're wrong. I'll show you. Tell me about how you don't have time to recontest when the cart is here. Tell me about that. I don't really care about your Ana. I already want you rotating to the high ground. So again, we look at this. Hey, this is happening. Whatever. You decide to walk main for some reason. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I need to peel for mana, but like you're not going to be able to do work from here. You're just not going to be able to do any work if you push out in this direction. I hate it. Like, you're going to be walking out into the sight line of the opponent. Even if this works the way you think it should, you're going to walk out into the sight line of the opponent without any sort of shield, without any sort of off angle, not a light hit scan off angle, not an extreme flanker or bastion off angle. Like, this is just going to be, yes, I walked out down main and, well, maybe I'll now walk myself over here or something. Like, no, this was never going to work. And you're thinking, no, I need to apply pressure to help my Ana get out. Yeah, I don't care about her. I mean, there's just not enough you can do when you're marking yourself. If you shoot at them here, you're effectively marking yourself and reminding them, even if you drive them off, that you're shooting from here, they're going to then see you go this way. I don't like it. Now they're aware of you, and now it's harder, but you even now still have time to go, hey, I'm going to go up here and get up here, and yes, the card will be like here by the time you do so, but that's still time for you to potentially get an elimination or two. Are you going to be able to get an elimination or two and touch? No, but hey, if you get an elimination or two, one of your teammates might be willing to just barrel through them to go touch the cart. And we'll hope for that better than this hope for maybe we'll save our Ana thing. Now you can't touch anymore, I agree.
Let's get to that outlet.
Stop the payload. The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Right side, right side, right side. This is going to be your sneaky off angle right now. I don't mind if you go regular high ground, but let's see what you do. Okay. That's a little slow on your pathing to make your decision on where you're going. He just wraithed. Take him out. Transform. This was worth transforming for. There's nowhere for him to go. This is worth transforming for because he doesn't have Wraith and there's nowhere for him to go. If he still had Wraith, you might shoot at him in your robot form here and be like, yeah, let me just force Wraith real quick. But right now, he's in a bubble, so I don't mind spending a little time anyways. He's in a bubble, so if I'm going to eliminate him, I potentially need more damage if I'm going to shoot him before his bubble is over anyways, and he has nowhere to go. He's not going to be able to get to cover before you eliminate him in turret mode if you transform to turret. So absolutely, this one makes way more sense to transform to turret mode because there aren't good cover options for him. You're going to get to work for more than a second in turret mode if you transform. Okay. Why are you waiting? Fine. I don't necessarily love applying damage pressure to Reinhardt there. It just sort of reminds this team where you are. You see that Soldier's there. Soldier's going there. Soldier has a Visor going, a Nano going, a Mercy on him. Soldier's creating plenty of distraction. Please keep walking. Please keep walking left and transform. I guarantee you this team's eyeballs are glued to the Nano monster soldier with glowing eyes. What is this? What is this? Like, okay, let's get a screenshot of that. That's weird. Their eyeballs are glued to what's going on here. Of course, they're going to be like, oh yeah, we should look at that. We should spend our resources, our attention on that. And he's not going to be in that form for more than another second. But you can walk over here and turret and already be in turret form without having taken any damage by the time anyone starts to think about it adjusting to you. So can we then trade for two people before we go down? Yes, we can. Are we going to go down? Absolutely. That's female Thor. Okay. And here, you get a Discord Orb, you get some Zen shots on you, because by the time you rotated, Soldier was over. Wait. Okay, good. I like this. That was cute. Good. You've already won. You're fine. Don't drop. Okay. I mean, if Mercy's gonna stay with you, you might be able to force this. That was an interesting rotation. I get what you want. That's a little interesting to walk across there without your eyeballs in this direction at all. Low ground Nana boost tag riser in front of Ryan Shield, terrifying, but they'll still pay attention to it. Okay, so we got trans. Now they're going to start to re-push on their trans if you're going to tank mode back here. Yep. It's fine. We didn't get quite as much done as we'd have liked because of where the engage was, but that was the right play. Your last threat was from the right, now you're playing left. Sure. Okay. Hog is a coward. That's annoying. The three of you should have pushed that. So you're doing this, you got plenty of value there, you're aware of these guys, so you go, hey, I gotta deal with it. Mercy leaves. Mercy comes back. Hog goes, no, it's scary, they're shooting at me, while he has a Mercy beam. Like, he needed to keep pushing for you, even while you did this, but that's okay, you guys aren't a team. He hits the hook, it works. You're forcing this without having gotten the fire off yet. I don't think you drop there. Like, this, your team needs to push. You need to check you sort of need to understand the ebb and flow, and you need to check. Like, okay, this happened, but I'm not comfortable with the fight, so let me take a quick peek to see if my team is pushing them. If your team is pushing them, absolutely, you open this angle. If your team isn't pushing them, you probably need to hold steady for 2 seconds and then open this angle, because you need her and Zen and everyone to get baited back into paying attention to your team here. If your team is actively pushing them, they'll pay attention to your team faster, but your team isn't actively pushing them, so you need her to go, okay, I'm bored, and get on this before you open this angle. Why would they leave me here? I feed because of them. You feed on your own. Like, you feed on your own. You very much needed to check on how close your front line was to their front line. Maybe. You probably take out Zen real fast. Yeah. Why might Mercy prefer 76 over Bastion? Soldier 76 can heal himself, but Bastion needs to stop firing to heal himself. I know, I'm sorry, it's okay. In terms of why, the aggressive angle, it can just have to do with the angle that the Bastion is on versus the Soldier is on. It can have to do with what's going on. I mean, why, for example, was the Mercy boosting the Nano Visoring Soldier 76? Well, that one makes sense to me. I mean, she's only getting the extra 20% rather than 30% damage boost, but she's going, hey, this thing has mobility, power, damage reduction. Like, hey, I'm good with it. I'm going to boost it. So that can kind of make sense. In other situations, I mean, just earlier she was doing a little bit of healing the hog, a little bit of damage boosting the hook, and then she swapped over to the Bastion. But she's probably picking based on her own safety and based on location. I'm not really reviewing her. It's possible that she's not picking very well, but there's absolutely times you boost Soldier 76 over Bastion because Bastion tends to be a little bit more secretive, a little bit more, hey, he can play standard angles and you should get boosted on those. But when he's going for more of his sneaky, I'm flanky Bastion stuff, he's not going to be in places where Mercy can easily support him. And he doesn't really want the extra person missing or the extra power missing from the team while he goes and does those things because it makes his play more obvious. Temporal, they should release Overwatch 34 instead of Overwatch 2. I think a lot more people would play. Or their soldiers, their boyfriend, and they're doing. Could be.
60 seconds remaining.
Go right. Okay. It's pretty juicy. It's pretty juicy.
Pass into the iris.
Okay. It's not a great range for us, but we can deal with it.
Helden sterben nicht.
I'm not really sure I want this angle. Like, I'm perfectly fine with clearing the threat off of you here, but my hog's already got this under control. I think my hog is fine. Maybe you think your hog's in trouble. I probably want to clear this Discord, heal myself up, and go right back to here. I want the good crossfire. Then you might be thinking, hey, my soldier's there.
30 seconds remaining.
Sure. Don't fight this. Don't fight this. Don't fight this. Good. Go sneaky. Go sneaky. Go sneaky. Go sneaky.
Damn it.
No, I don't want the standard off angle. I want to sneak. You've been playing standard a bit here. They're going to have to push. You have tank mode. We definitely go sneaky. Like, we're going to go behind this team and wait and wait and wait. And when this team has to push, when we can see that they've pushed into our team, that our team is yellow in combat, we go back here, we come out with a tank mode, and we just take people out. Like, that's what's going to happen, right?
10 seconds remaining.
Right?
Suiting up.
Do something!
But, like, you had the mobility of tank mode. I wanted you to take a real flank and actually go behind them, not hit them from the side. You had the safety to do that, I promise. And you had the cart pressure on them from overtime to make them push forward. The only thing you were going to find if you pushed the backline was supports, or supports and hit scan that you can beat. Like, you push the backline in this situation.
Double
Okay,
double.
good one. Yes, only Temporal tells you when you get a 4K that it wasn't good enough. And it wasn't. It could have been higher probability, but that's okay. You will get sneaky? Okay.
Score.
Okay. There was a flank hog, it's true.
0-2.
You don't think Temporal has a heart?
Sides.
What if it's an Omnic heart?
Initiating match.
You think he's cold, cruel, and evil? Well, what if my heart is just 2 sizes too small? Wrong season. We're almost there, but we're not there quite yet.
Initiating match.
Where would I rank configuration tank among the DPS ults? I mean, it's useful because it actually lets Bastion play a little bit differently. I would actually probably rate it reasonably among the DPS ults. DPS ults are in general pretty bad, with some exceptions that don't function like DPS ults, such as Simwall, EMP, Blizzard. Those are some of the better DPS ults. But I would probably rank Bastion's tank mode moderately high, because it lets him do what he wants to do, which is, hey, some of this off-angling with flexibility, it lets him do that a bit more. It lets him go, hey, I can actually change angles while doing this without having to constantly transform. I can actually move around the fight. I can do this from my off angle and immediately have some pretty good power type thing. So I rate it reasonably high. It's certainly better than a visor. Like, it's better than the standard hit scan ults in terms of visor, high noon. Let me think about some other. Let's look at some DPS heroes. Better than this. Better than this. Those are always sort of the low-hanging fruit, low-hanging bars. Definitely not as good as this. 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 Would have beat the old version of this. Probably still does beat this. Probably still does beat this. I'd say we've probably found our happy spot. Probably still beats Blossom, though that's a little bit iffy. Little bit iffy. We're going to put it ahead of Barrage. We're going to put it ahead of Blossom. Probably around here-ish. I haven't listed every single ult out here, but I've listed some that are clearly better than it and some that are worse, that we've gotten pretty close on the worst. I'd put it roughly middle of the table for the DPS ults. It's better than ones like this that are just more damage. More damage. It's not as good as some of the ones that give us utility, 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 utility type stuff. Because the utility ones tend to be the best ones. You can make an argument that Infocytes isn't one of the best ults and it's a utility one. It's not a bad one, but yeah. You didn't go behind because Hog was already there? Okay, that's fair then. Configuration tank is actually a solid mid-tier ult. The rest of the character is the problem? Correct. Correct. I thought the tank was pretty low, but compared to other DPS ults, yeah, it's not so bad probably. Right, right. Don't underestimate it. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Nordstorm. Riptide destroys in Bastion ranks. That's true, but as you go higher, Riptide does get progressively worse. Beats Barrage. Yeah, yeah. Adam in Charge says, Temporal, I heard you run on regular gas, not Supreme, like Adam. Is that true? Does it make you feel inferior? Why does it? You know he's superior. Temporal, stop crying. It'll be okay. I mean, if you're overpaying for gas, Adam, that's on you. Bob is so good. Bob can be pretty darn good. The ability to contest with Bob is pretty nice for some things. I still wouldn't consider Bob nearly as good as Simwall or EMP, things like that. But Bob is, well, you'll notice I didn't list it as better than Bob. You're telling me the DPS with the best ults are the ones that are low-key tank ults or support ults? Exactly. Hey, McDonough. Adam pays for gas with the Supreme logo for 20 times the price. In California, gas prices are pretty ridiculous. Yeah, California is the highest gas tax in the country. What is better than Bob? EMP. Simwall. Probably Blizzard.
2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Payload secured. Move out.
Escort the payload.
Okay, so we're walking out here. We've got a little bit more to pay attention to in terms of some of our transform timings. We sometimes are applying pressure with our robot form when we should be going turret, and we're sometimes turreting when we'd be better off staying a robot, like cleaning up that Reaper versus that Soldier. We've sort of went backwards on those two with what we should have done, and we probably want to be changing our angle a little bit more often than we are as well. Those are sort of two things that are jumping out at me here, but let's continue. We do this, we're feeding. Why are we feeding Sigma so hard?
Payload secured. Move out.
Escort the payload.
That's a shift. You're done. You just untransform and move. You just untransform and move. Please don't feed 60 Bastion bullets to the Sigma shift. Like, we don't do that.
Heal up. Damage.
This is too standard. What are you doing? I don't want to be here. Like, I could have put some poke from here, but really, I just wanted to rotate up over here. Like, I just wanted to rotate my way up here and be like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I don't mind if you help your team push them back a little bit, but you're way overstaying your welcome here. Where's the sneakiness, right? You enjoy the 700 HP Sigma, right? We don't really like that. The Mei is telling you to sneak. Sneak. Sneaky, sneaky. We go over here, we rotate up here, we'll set up a nice little Bastion turret here, do some damage, we leave, we rotate through here, we set up a new turret after they've rotated more to try to stop the card over here. Like, this is how this is done. Leave. As soon as you got that ice block out, it was time to leave.
This is not the end. 公主，不许走。
Why are we forcing this main?
My ultimate is charging. I'm taking care of you. Why is the payload stopped?
No, Adam. No, it's not.
You're going to be okay.
But I think I'm supposed to pretend it is. I think that's the content creator meta. I think that's the content creator meta. I'm supposed to pretend that that's true. Okay, so we go like this. We go like this. We decide we're going to melt a wall. Like, I don't want you here. Use this wall time to rotate. This wall isn't doing them any good. I get it. Like, yeah, you want to help your Reinhardt out? Fine, help your Reinhardt out. I'm just sick of it. Like, yes, you're right to go transform and break the wall to get your Reinhardt through. You are in this case. But, like, I'm just annoyed that you're still here when we could have used all this time to rotate ourselves up here and have a different angle than our team. We do not need to brute force this. Okay. Rotation, rotation. Okay. Wait for the hook. You're gonna struggle to beat him if you don't wait for the hook. Nope, now you're in trouble. Yeah. No, no, not an option. You just accept that you're gone here. You can try to run, but you don't burn your tank form on this. Tank form, we are long past tank form giving you back your health. You cannot afford to go, I'm going to ult when he's already pulling you in. He's still going to, tank form doesn't restore your health. Like, you've now wasted your ult. Yes, you're still not going to one-shot him, and he didn't one-shot you either, but you're going to lose your tank. Why are you alive? I don't care that it moves you. We should have hit the second shot, as should its BAF. Okay. I mean, I can't complain if you're actually going to... Okay, value ult. The ult, not only did the ult save your own life, so +1 in that sense, it also took someone else. I guess I can't object to it. It's wrong. He should have taken you down, but okay. Get dunked on. I'm getting dunked on because he won the fight he shouldn't have, or he survived when he shouldn't have and got a limb. Yeah, that's fair. It hit his head hitbox, big brain. I mean, except that I still don't think he gets out. Like, you have the hook, left click, and then there was time for another left click. He just whiffed the second left click. He went right when Bastion went left on his screen. I'm so sorry. It's fine. It's not a big deal. People get away with doing wrong stuff all the time in Overwatch. You just, you know, realize that they won't at higher SR, and even at the SR they're at, it's not consistent. You can make a play, and it can be the wrong play, but it'll work 1 out of 5 times instead of the play that would have worked 3 out of 5 times, and sometimes you catch that 1 out of 5 times. No problem. Okay. Just leave, sure. Yeah, that's not a great place to be standing. You kind of know that's not a great place to be standing. Like, I get it, it's like, oh, you know this Mei doesn't have Ice Wall, so you go, I'm gonna get her, but that's a lot of open angles against you. That's a lot of open angles against you, and you're in turret form where you have to melt her, and do you know her Ice Block status? Do you? Do you? I'm not sure I'd do this if she has Ice Block. Yeah.
Securing the payload.
I suppose she doesn't because she was card contesting. I want to see this backstory, Adam. When are we gonna have the backstory, the mini-series about Overwatch Academy that all of the coaches attended together, apparently?
Enemy seen.
This is so down main and so direct. Like, okay, we're doing this. They transform and you decide to turret here? Like, you're not going to be able to force the corner on them. You're in your own front line. It's not really an off angle. Like, this fight's all recon. But we'll deal. We're gonna go get control of high ground church, right? Right? Oh, are we doing it? Good. Apply some pressure to Bane. Don't go this way. You wanted to apply ranged pressure.
Payload secured.
I'm good with this so far. I'm good with this. Apply some pressure. No problem. I'll deal. Cool. I don't want to go forward. There's not a good reason to walk forward here. There's no cover between here and here. If you want to play back here and be like, hey, I'm going to apply a little bit of cover, and then, or you wanted to shoot as you were rotating and then go, my team is going to hold out. I'm going to trust that my team is going to hold out and they're not going to fall too far behind in this fight as I walk my way through here and go, aha, and now I'm going to turret and take out 2 people or take out a person and then have a kite path to get out. That's potentially fine. But or, you know, you can rotate up here, which will take longer, and you have to decide if you can do it. You could rotate up here, accept that your team loses the fight, and then win the next fight by covering them on the way in from here, and then rotating in from here. Like, these are options, and they'll take a little bit longer, but they're going to be worth the payoff. I don't expect you to win. You have nowhere you can retreat to. No.
I'm on fire! I'll show them.
If Adam ever makes a TV show, he'll be writer, director, and main lead calling it. Okay, okay.
All systems checked out.
Why are we main? Why are we main? Why are we main? This isn't a good hit scan off angle. This isn't a good sneaky flank Bastion. This is just us playing Bastion on the cards. Okay. Are we going to bank?
Nanoboost administered.
Heroes never die.
Sure.
Nanoboost administered.
Heroes never die.
You have Nano and Belt going. I guess you don't tank, but I really kind of want to tank right now because you're like you don't have enough power and you haven't been able to stay in this fight and keep power. And part of the reason you don't have good power is your positioning isn't really good this fight. Hasn't been good for the last few fights. So like if we want to stay in this fight with power, tank mode is that compromise that gets us in. It'll sort of bail us out of the fact that our positioning has not been doing much and we're sort of having to pick between power versus mobility because we can't keep up with the fight, and tank mode again solves that. But we're already using Nano and Valk, so it's going to be tough to justify that. Good. Pirate ship, let's go. Hey, Enrique.
60 seconds remaining.
Does Bastion provide something useful in map comp matchup, or is it just an art of playing Bastion, which I fully respect? There's an art to playing Bastion. There absolutely is. Bastion can be useful for some things. Like, Bastion can be useful for breaking spawn holds. Bastion had an owl stage meta. It was stupid, but he had it. Bastion is a hero that has some use, don't get me wrong. He's probably the worst hero in the game, but he does have some use. He does have a place. He's useful for if there's weird cheese, especially pre-2v2v pre-222 lock. One of the best things, or wait, how do we solve this weird cheese that we don't understand, was, well, can we just bring out a Mercy Bastion or a Mercy Bastion Orisa? And that was one of the sort of checklist things for, hey, there's a cheese comp like 6 supports from the enemy team that we don't understand how to beat. That's messing up our own 222 or whatever the case may be.
I will keep you.
Why are we going man? We've had tank mode for so long. We'd be so good on an off angle. What? 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 We wasted like a quarter of our tank mode just getting back into range. No. I don't want a tank mode to fight their window head on. You've still got plenty of time. This would have been so much easier of a way to win this game. Like, so much easier. Even if you just had to let your team lose a fight while you rotated to here to have a, like, twice as good odds of winning the next one. So maybe you have a, you know, maybe you go, our team had a 30-40% chance of winning the previous fight. We'll say a 30% chance of winning the previous fight. I'm going to just spend this time rotating while my team loses, so they have, like, a 10% chance of winning the fight. But now we have a 60% chance of winning this next fight because I'm set up and haven't given away my position yet, and now I'm going to do this. Like, even that would have been worth it basically any point in your second point attack. By the way, this isn't actually a very good pirate ship map, and the reason this isn't actually a very good pirate ship map is because there's too much high ground. And this is a terrible pirate ship map. That's not mostly what you were playing, but I'm going to bring it up since you did ride cart for a little bit here. It's way too easy to stop Bastion here if you pirate ship for defense. Like, way too easy for them to drop on both sides around you. You had no sight line to pre-deal damage to them, so they show up with full health and full resources. It's way too easy for them to drop on you here. It's way too easy for them to drop on you here. This is not a terribly good pirate ship map. It's not as bad as trying to pirate ship on Gibraltar, but it's not a good pirate ship map like, say, Junkertown can be, or even Route 66 can be.
Damn it.
I don't know, Congex. I don't know why Celeste is staying with the team so much on attack. They stayed with the team a little bit more than I liked on defense, but they're staying with the team way too much on offense here. Push up. Go take right side. Right side. Right side. They're not recontesting, and even if they were, you'd take out their back line and end the recontest. No, don't stay on card. Don't stay on card. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You have to go right. You have to go right. Sure.
The payload. Move it out.
Resistance neutralized. Get out of my way.
Wait for it, wait for it. Okay. The complete lack of respect for Windows. But it's not just you. Your team has zero respect for it as well. Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Go get your mini. Works for me. This is fine, and you win.
Activated.
10 seconds.
And this angle's fine.
Victory.
Okay, so the single biggest thing is you've got to be sneakier. Like, sneakiness is useful on defense, and you did some of it. I'd like to see a little bit more. Let's wrap around here. But you did do some of it. You did, hey, I'm going to walk down here and get this Zen. You did some amount of, hey, I'm going to take a little bit of a sneaky path. I suppose you did one on offense where you did a sneakiness trying. Over to here, though, you got caught. But, like, Bastion has to be more sneaky than this. If you're just going to be a hit scan that mostly plays with your team, like, in some ways, yes, you're a damage cannon, and, oh, that makes you better than Soldier 76, but, like, the reality is damage from one direction, even extremely high amounts of it, is not actually that hard to solve in Overwatch. You have things like Defense Matrix, which absorbs infinite damage. Limited time period, but infinite damage. Sigma Hands absorbs infinite damage, limited time period, but infinite damage there, that sort of thing. You can throw up things like May Walls, which they did. You want to be put in a situation where you go over here, and May has to wall you to block you, and you go, okay, I transform, I move over, and I do it again, and you just spent your wall. And also, because you spent your wall on me, it isn't splitting my team, it isn't interrupting team damage, and my team is getting to pummel you from this direction. Like, you do have to be sneakier. You guys lost a ton of time, effectively, right on second in general, but right here on the map especially, where it's like, what are you doing? Why are we not taking the, like, literally the standard rotation to break second? And you're the person to do it on your team. And you especially want to be thinking about these things because you're Bastion, and you have to be bouncing between going for your sneaky off angles and playing just standard off angle hit scan stuff. And honestly, this is like kind of a compromise between those in the first place, where this is a pretty standard thing for Hitscan to do. It's not even being that sneaky on them. Being sneaky might be being back in their bank vault, that sort of thing. So really, I want you to play a sneakier Bastion. I want you to mix it up. Like I'd say on defense, you were probably 70-30 in terms of standard hit scan angles versus sneakiness, and that was okay. But on offense, like the reality is I'd probably be closer to 60-40 in terms of your regular off angles versus sneakiness, and you'll have to adjust it based on your opponents, definitely. But like there's very little reason they weren't doing some great job of answering your sneakiness when you did do it. Did you get caught with one angle that you pushed on third on defense? Yeah, you did, but that was because you got your timing wrong. And if you're backing off from being sneaky because you're getting your timing wrong, that's fine. We just need to fix your timing. But right now, the sneakiness, the I'm going to take deeper off angles against them, we have to turn that up. We have to do more of that. You should have done this attack. Yes, you won this match, but you should have won this attack quite a bit faster than you did. Like, this was your route on second. No questions asked. This was your route on second. On first, I don't mind that you ultimately went this way and had some success, but you needed to be pushing this earlier. We've also done map guides, and you'll notice some of this stuff is in our map guide for Dorado, where these are just the things that you have to press, you have to take to win, but also you don't want to be pushing main through May walls and such here with Bastion in the first place. Like, that is not the hero. Yes, we have a lot of firepower that we can send down mid, but again, blocking infinite damage in one direction, you put things like a cart in the way, and infinite damage isn't really a big deal. You put these infinite health pieces of cover in the way, and infinite damage isn't really an issue. So we have to get a different angle to compromise the value of cover. Like we have to. And these standard hit scan angles would have been fine, like over here and over here. That would have been perfectly fine. But there's also times where we take deeper angles, where we get, we never really had to go super, super wild on this map. The only place we really had a chance to go super wild was one that we did, though poorly, of, hey, let's push behind like this. But that's absolutely something we can do and should do more often. But we at the very least needed to play more of these off angles, more of these I'm going to invest time in getting a payoff later by rotating here through church, by rotating up here through high ground, by rotating over here. Like, these things had to happen. They're how you win the game as Bastion. So invest time in your rotations to get your off angles. Please, please do it. Don't feel like magnetized to the fight of I have to be involved in the fight right now. I have to go do damage right now. We do not want you tied too heavily to that. That is going to be the single biggest improvement for you to make. And I'd say that you should be thinking even more about doing that when you have your tank mode available, because you sat on a tank mode for a long time there, and it was a long time that you weren't finding a good tank mode, and the reason you weren't finding a good tank mode was because you weren't off-angling appropriately, and you had the tank mode on this stretch for a very, very long time, which you'd have found a way to use if you'd had those off-angles there. You're afraid to leave my team? I forget that I'm supposed to hate them? Right, but like, it's okay as Bastion to trade, to go, I traded 2-1, I traded 3-1. Yeah, Bastion doesn't have amazing tools to get out, it's true, but he blows people up so quickly that he just doesn't mind getting caught. You want to think of Bastion as like a McCree that constantly has high noon, where you go, well, I always have high noon, and I don't mind taking a stupid flank on Kree and high nooning, because I'll probably get eliminated in exchange for that, but if I take a stupid flank high noon, I can pretty easily pull out either a ton of resources or get 2 to 3 eliminations. Or, hey, they can't dive me on my stupid flank even though I have no good mobility to get out because, hey, I open the angle late for my high noon, or open the angle late for my turret after their tank line is committed to fighting my tank line. Like, you can think of Bastion as being a McCree that constantly has high noons and is going for those. Now, you're not constantly going to do it because it gets too predictable, which is why you go back to more standard off-angle type play as well. So that's going to be your biggest thing right there. The next thing that we get into is I do want a little better judgment of, hey, you don't necessarily want to go turret mode when someone could close the angle on you like immediately. You don't go turret mode when shooting at someone who has cover, basically. You need to compromise their cover for your turret mode to make sense. They need to not be they actually have to be about a second or so, really more than a second, because you've got a little transform time away from cover for turret mode to make sense. Whereas if they are more than a second or so away from cover, you absolutely want to go turret mode because you can destroy them, force all their cooldowns, do all that good stuff. So I'd like a little bit more judgment there, but that's definitely the secondary concern behind your primary concern of off angle more. Don't get attached to your team. Really, don't. It's not what we want to do. Okay. Oh, we have a super chat coming in from Adam in Charge for 199 saying Celeste is great. Bastion, you're just mad nerd. Thank you. I appreciate that super chat, Adam in Charge. Once again for 199 saying Celeste is great. Bastion is a great Bastion. You're just mad nerd. I appreciate the super chat, Adam. Okay, let's do a final wrap up on chat here. Will we have a merch store? Spylo's making one. At some point we will, yeah. Let's cancel temporal. Good luck with that. You ruined our lives. Yes, I told you to, work on your problems and get better and to, go, hey, if you want to get better at something, this is how you do it. You do focused improvement. Yeah, really ruined your lives. You've been playing a lot of DPS and quick play lately, and that rule drives you to hate your team. I can see that. Can delete one person, then go back behind cover and heal rip. Sometimes, yeah. Really, from playing DPS, they're the least team dependent. Yeah, but if you leave comms on at lower SRs and in quick play, which gets a lot more mixed, you can have the teammates who are like, "Why are DPS going and getting eliminations all by themselves?" Well, because the tanks haven't created any space. Because the supports only pay attention to the tanks. That sort of thing. So take more flanks and think about transforms. Got it. Yes, you got it. Yeah, every time I expect to get healed after waiting behind cover for 5 seconds when your Brig burns all repair packs on your full health Reinhardt, you hate your team? That's about right. That's about right. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and call it there. And I will see you guys in the next one. We'll, like I said, do a Northeastern stream of our NACE game, I suspect, in a couple hours here. And I will see you guys maybe for another stream or another video later this evening as well. But for now, we'll call it. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.